What's going on, guys? Cody from Motorcycle MD. In this video and on the bench today, we have a 2009 Kawasaki VN900 B classic model. This is a 620 pound 900cc V-twin, fuel injected, liquid cooled, puts out around 54 horsepower and maybe 60 foot-pounds of torque, but we don't get to enjoy any of that because this bike won't start. So in this video, we're just going to go through a basic fundamental process of diagnosing what it should have and what it doesn't. Hopefully that will lead us to the problem. And I don't know if this is going to be super involved or just really easy. But if you are new to the channel, welcome. We do videos on motorcycle repair and motor overhauls, diagnosing things. As a professional Honda technician, in my day-to-day job, I tend to see things that I want to share with you. If you are into that sort of thing and enjoy working on your own bike, hopefully saving you a little bit of money, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, let's dive into this Kawasaki and see what the heck's going on. Let's get into it. And before we start, I will just butt in and say I am dabbling with a new audio source. Hopefully it makes videos better, but I in fact tend to make them worse. And in this video you will find that there is a really annoying frequency. Hopefully I can knock it out with a little bit of post-production editing, but who knows? There's a small buzz. I figured out what it was. This camera is really annoying and it causes problems, but enjoy. All right, so first things first, what we gotta do is just verify, right? Customer said that there's a new battery in it. The fuel has been replaced on it. I want to hear if we can get any fuel pump noise out of this thing. Let's just flip the key on and listen. That is a definite fuel pump noise. That could be good. You know, that's telling us that the fuel pump is getting a signal, so we know that. Whether it's pumping actual fuel or holding a pressure, we don't know that yet. So let's go ahead and try to fire this thing up, and so you can get an idea of what we're dealing with. Nada. Fuel pumps recycling. Nothing. That is a very healthy battery though, so that's good. One thing that we will do since we're here is we're going to go ahead and set up a jumper battery or a charging mechanism for the battery, because when we're doing diagnostic stuff like this, just you want the battery to be healthy because you don't want to dwindle the battery down and then you're screwed. So we'll put a charger on this thing for now. Now let's play find the battery. So here's a pigtail going to a battery. So what does this do? Oh, sick. Okay, so we got a little tool. Let me know. There we go. Okay. Registration. Not helpful. So the battery is probably underneath this. So far, it seems pretty easy to work on. You can maintain your own battery. Sick. Nice YTX 12 BS. We got some semi-loose terminals. Pretty common. Make sure you guys are checking your terminals, man. I do this every time and I always find loose stuff. Like that. Use a 10mm socket to tighten these down. For now, we'll just use this. This is just us trying to prepare for diagnosis right here. We just don't want that battery to die or to drain it. You know, it's a good battery. All right, so we got a good charge in the battery. Next thing that I want to do is find the airbox, because we can hit this thing with some starter fluid. That will tell us a lot of things. It'll tell us if we have spark. It will tell us if we have compression. Tell us that there potentially could be a fuel issue because we're giving it fuel and therefore it's responding, or it's not responding. So those are the two things. This is, like, again, this is a fuel injected bike. I think the airbox will be right here. I see a little idle adjustment over on this side. So let's go ahead and pop this cover off. 4 Allen heads. This bike has been garage kept, which is good. Gives us some fighting chances when it comes to connectors, weather, corrosion, that kind of stuff. Airbox, sweet. We have a double barrel throttle body, which means there's probably 2 different fuel injectors. Our filter pleat is right here. It's like one big plastic unit. But what we're going to try to do is just turn this thing over, spray a little bit of starter fluid from like this distance, and just see what happens. We're going to open the throttle up just a little bit as well, just so that starter fluid can make it down in there. So let's see what happens. Absolutely nothing. Definitely should have gotten a reaction from that. Okay, so possibility that it does not have spark. Possibility. I'm not saying that's it, but that should have responded for some starter fluid easily. So we got 2 spark plug systems, so just 1 per cylinder. These look like a lot of fun to get to. Let's see if we can't just sneak in here with a couple of tools. I have a feeling that these spark plugs are going to be jet black. This is the front cylinder we're going in after. I'm going to push this up out of the way. You can bend this top part to get it out of there. And we'll just put you over there for now. Go ahead and hit this down tube with a little bit of compressed air. Nothing should be in there, you know, but we don't want there to be anything in there. This should be good. Now let's find what spark plug socket. So we'll drop that down. We got a little extension. Looks like it does fit on top. We'll pop that in. We won't be able to pull this all the way out because the frame's in the way. At least that's what I think of. Oh, can we? Hey, yeah. I got this new spark plug thing. It was super cheap on Amazon. Black Friday deal. Little spark plug tester. You can actually, I think you can like unscrew this thing and you can adjust the gap, which is pretty cool. Anything and it gives like this little gauge. I don't know how accurate it is, but it should jump that gap for sure. So I think this plug, let's see, I have never used this thing yet. Is that the right spark plug for it? Does this cap come off? Oh, it does. Oh, sick. All right. Plug this in. Boom. Okay. This end is just going to go to a ground somewhere, so we can go straight to the motor. Should be good ground. All right, let's turn this thing through again and see if we got spark here. I'm going to shut this light off. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we got spark. We got spark, so that's good. I have a weird suspicion that this is going to be a spark plug issue. Spark plugs don't even look that bad. Definitely some darkening on this thing. It was wet when I pulled it out. They're probably old. I can usually tell that by this little ring that's down here at the bottom. Sometimes very old spark plugs will just get discolored down here at the porcelain. But a lot of times what I've found is when people start and stop their bikes constantly throughout the winter time, they're not riding it a lot, but they want to make sure that it's still running. They'll do that over and over and over again. The bike never gets to operating temperature. You're never really cleaning the plug off, we'll say, by riding the bike on the interstate and getting it up and going and getting some electricity pumped through this thing. Sometimes they can develop coatings on them with fuel, and that causes the resistance with the spark plug. And I've just seen that between a bad spark plug that's old and you put a new one in there and boom, the problem solved. It can happen. So let's pop some new plugs in this thing. That would be fantastic if that's all it was. All right, so we have some brand new plugs, some NGKs, always NGKs, CPR 7EA9s to go back in this. I would be ecstatic if that's all it was. It wouldn't surprise me. You would be surprised at how many times I've fixed motorcycles with just spark plugs, which is why it's always a good idea just to replace them. I'm going to ease this thing down in here. We don't want to drop it in there. It might close the gap on us in some cases. So almost a full turn until it snugs in there nice. All the way down. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, let's lift this tank up. We're just going to undo the 2 back bolts here. All right, let's get us a block of wood. Let's try that. Old gas and spark plugs are not friends, okay? If you're trying to burn old gas, it will ruin the spark plug. And that's what I think has happened. It could be an injector, you know, but it not firing off of the starter fluid is a sign right off the bat. Also, I mean, there could be water in the gas. You know, that can cause the same kind of symptom. This one's not any better. Black as night, lots of buildup on it. Wet. And it's the same spark plug, probably old. These are probably original. I don't know what originally comes in these bikes, but it's old. All right, shove this guy back in there. Get that good crunch. Dude, let's fire it up. So, bike sat for a long time. Could not get it started. Customer tried putting fuel in it. Could it just be the spark plug? Let's find out. There's something. Love that. That's about as easy as it gets, guys. I thought we would have a potential fuel pump problem or something like that, or an injector problem being plugged up. Fresh gas, maybe a little bit of some cleaner inside the tank to help if the fuel injector isn't being weird at all, but it's not, you know. Old gas with spark plugs, not operating the vehicle at an operating temperature and just starting it up and letting it die out is not the way to go. As you can see, a simple spark plug change solved this problem, but that's why every time I do carburetor jobs or I do anything that revolves around a bike that's been sitting, spark plugs are always, always, always on the list of things to replace. Even if I'm going after the carburetor, even if the spark plugs look good, I don't care. New spark plugs, got this thing right back to life. So we're going to do oil on this thing. We're going to do coolant. We're going to do front brake, rear brake, brake fluids. We're going to detail this bike. We're going to install a sissy bar on it, and we're going to install a windshield on it. Comment if you'd like to see any of those videos. Otherwise, spark plug change, VN900. This bike is ready to roll. Easy, easy, easy.